Hey everyone, I'm out at Ralph's Stover today. I did some free climbing with a friend this morning, but he had to get going around lunchtime, so I'm doing some aid climbing practice now. I did some juggling up a line before, some on a vertical face and some overhanging, and that was a good workout. I've done one lap on the aid climb, and I'm about to do probably another 2 more laps, so I thought I'd get the camera out and show you guys what I'm doing. First of all, I wanted to go through the system that I'm using. I'm by myself right now, so I'm using a chest harness as well as my waist harness, so that allows me to have 2 devices. The first one that I'm using is the Petzl Microtraxion. It's essentially a one-way pulley. You can open it up and feed the rope through here. It's got sharp teeth on here, which means it's essentially a one-way pulley. It'll allow the rope to slide through in one direction, but not slide through in the other direction. And I've got that up here on my chest harness. Then down below, I've got the Petzl Microcender. This doesn't have the sharp teeth. It's got these notches in here, and this is essentially just like a cam. The rope will slide through, but then if I fall, it'll clamp down and pull down on the device. So the rope slides through like that, and then when I fall, it'll lock in. I like having one tooth device and one non-tooth. I try to put the main force on the non-tooth device so it doesn't destroy the sheath of my rope too much. So I'm putting that on the bottom. The reason I'm wearing the chest harness is that allows me to put 2 pieces independently, and it also prevents me from having a backwards facing fall. So if I'm aid climbing and a piece pulls out and I fall backwards, I'm not going to go upside down. The chest harness is going to keep me in an upright position. You'll notice I've got a sling here, just a really short sling to connect the 2. That's not required, but after a few times of using this setup, I found that if I took a fall, the chest harness would pull up like this, and it would pull the chest harness and the top device all the way up around my face, and it made it really hard if I was then going to try and get out of the system. Say if I couldn't climb it, I had to lower myself back down. It was making it really hard. So just putting this here, it keeps the 2 together so that when I take a fall, it doesn't ride up really high. I've been using this system for quite some time now, and I'm really happy with it. This is what I always use for my top rope setup. So when I'm top roping, I just have one rope like this, single strand. I find you want to add a little bit of weight down the bottom, otherwise as you start to climb up, there's just a little bit of friction coming through these devices, and it'll start to pull the rope up. This system that I'm using now is a completely hands-free. I don't have to attend to it while I'm climbing. So today I brought my hammock with me today. That was wishful thinking, that I might be able to get a chance to have a bit of a snooze, but it's been work all day today. And I've also got my senders on here that I used earlier. So that's just about enough weight to prevent me from pulling the rope up as I'm climbing. While I've been making this video today, someone came up to me and asked me about the setup that I was using for the solo self-belay and what the 2 devices are that I was using. So I thought I'd go into a little bit more detail of the 2 devices that I'm using. The first one, this is the Microtraxion. This is the one with the teeth. It's got an arming, a door here that comes open, and that's a good thing because it allows you to be able to put it onto the rope at any position rather than having to slide it up from the end of the rope. It's got these teeth on the inside here. You can lock the teeth into position there. This is the locked open position by pushing this button on the side here, and then to release, you push the button again. So I usually lock it open to put it on the rope, slide the door closed, and then you want to make sure you press the button there to lock that into place. So this will now, if I move both of these devices down a bit, this will now move up the rope, but if you were to fall, you'd be pulling on this way, and the teeth will lock into position. So that's the first device that I use. The second device that I use is called the Microcender. Similar sort of principle, but it doesn't have the sharp teeth that I fear could damage the sheath of the rope a little bit. It has a pin on the side here. You pull that down and pull it out, and that releases the camming mechanism. You can see it doesn't have the sharp teeth. It's just got these knobbles here, and they clamp the rope instead of bite into the rope. The Microcender is certified for ropes 9mm to 13, and the Microtraxion is 8mm to 11mm. So this one goes on the rope in a similar way there. Put your holes so they're lined up, and then push the pin, that'll close, and then you want to make sure that you pull this pin down, push it into place, and then snap it shut. So this device, similar principle, it'll go up, but then when you fall, you'll be pulling on this arm here, and the harder you pull on it, the harder it clamps the rope. So this device will actually go up and down like that. It's the pulling on this arm that really locks the rope in place. So I'll now put this one on my waist harness, and this one onto my chest harness. I'm using Petzl OK carabiners, the screw gate variety, for my waist and chest. They are oval shaped, which means they can move around. The device will flow freely through these as it needs to, as opposed to, say, a HMS, like a pear style carabiner, where one side has a big loop and one side has a smaller arc down the bottom. It would mess up your free flowing a little bit. So they're the two devices that I use, and it works really well. I'd recommend this system. If you have a look on the Petzl website, they have a number of different recommendations that they give for solo self belay. This is one of the techniques that they use. They always say use 2 devices and 2 different style devices to help back up in case of any failure. I blew a piece on that last climb just then. I tested it. I did the jump test a little bit, and anyway, as I was taking a step up, it was only as a very small nut. It blew out, and I went for a swing. Took a little bit of skin off the elbow. I just wanted to take this opportunity to remind everyone of what a good idea it is to always carry a prusik knot. I always carry some on my harness, and when I took that swing just then, I ended up just out under an overhang with nothing to hold on to. So I ended up having to transition from my self belay setup into a rappel. So you want to be able to get the weight off the devices, because I was just hanging there and there was nothing to hold on to get my weight off the 2 devices. So you have to unweight them using your prusik and then transition to a rappel. Maybe in the next video I'll show you how to transition from climbing up using your self belay into transitioning to a rappel. Works out well if you fall and then you can't finish the climb and you need to get down. So stay tuned for the next episode on that. Hope you enjoyed this day of aid climbing today.